Kevin Lee is definitely a definite beast, man. But Tony Ferguson, he's just been through with everybody, and he's just one of those guys that, like, each fight he's getting better and better and better. So, I think it should be a fun fight, but at the same time, I think Kevin Lee might have his hand full with Tony Ferguson. But Kevin Lee, he's one of the guys that lately he's just been on the tear. He's been on the tear, and like nobody really been standing on his way. So it should be really good.
Holy shit! I don't even know. That's a crazy fight. It's one of those fights that the fans aren't probably going to be pining over too much. But goddamn, that's a good fight. Man, if I had to pick someone, I'd pick Tony Ferguson. I think he's a little bit more experienced in those high-profile fights, and he's on a roll. And that dude's big too. So I know he's going to have the size and reach advantage on Kevin Lee. And I think that, I don't know, it's pretty early for a title fight for Kevin Lee. Not that he's not experienced enough, but it's definitely a big jump in opponents for sure. So if I had to choose one, I'd probably say Tony Ferguson.
Oh man, I think like I said, that's another tough one. But obviously Ferguson on that one streak, he's doing amazing. But man, I just think Kevin Lee is a little bit of a different level athlete, and I think he's going to take that one.
That's a tough one to call, because Tony Ferguson, he's super durable, very unorthodox. It's a really tough fight to call. I'm not sure. That one, I don't know. I could go either way, so I'll pass on that one.
So Kevin and Tony actually both grew up in Michigan. And a lot of people don't know that because Tony doesn't represent Michigan. He's a full California guy. Tony actually grew up like 20 minutes from where I grew up, which is weird, because Kevin like represents Detroit and Michigan more than Tony does. But yeah, I got to go with my boy Kevin Lee. That guy is so mentally tough. Kevin's a workhorse. He's a hard guy to beat. You've seen it. There's been so many fights where people really counted him out, and he'd go out there and win. He's just consistently done that his whole career. So I definitely got Kevin Lee in that fight.
It's tough. I know Kevin Lee's hot right now. Tony Ferguson's kind of been up and down with all the injuries and the backouts. He hasn't been as busy. I haven't even really put thought into who would win that. I'm kind of trying to play it out in my mind right now. I think Ferguson's got enough funk to get it done in the end, because Kevin Lee's very physical and he's got great technique, but Ferguson's just a wild, scrappy guy that will keep it rolling no matter what. I think Ferguson gets it done.
I'm definitely going to stick with Ferguson. I've doubted Kevin Lee a lot, though. I'll definitely say that. I definitely think that, every time where I'm like, no, he's going to get run over or it's a bad fight for him, he finds a way to win. That's the one thing that he is good at. He finds ways to win, but I still think he's got a very soft chin. And the issue with Ferguson is he can hurt you on the feet, and his submission game is, top notch. So it's one of those things where Kevin Lee's not going to just be able to manhandle him and toss him around, because Ferguson's weird too. He does weird stuff, but I think Ferguson, but you never know, Kevin Lee, like I said, he's found a way to win fights where I thought he was going to lose.
I'm taking Kevin Lee. I think decision. I think he's, and I could be wrong. Ferguson is such a tough cookie to crack. He's tough. Yeah, you know what I mean. He's tough, but I think that Kevin Lee's going to be too much of an athlete, honestly. And one thing that Kevin Lee does really well is he knows where to rest. So he does what he needs to do. He does what he needs to do, and then he'll take you down, and he'll rest without getting stood up. He knows how to work real well. And I don't think he's going to try to stand with Ferguson. With Dos Anjos, when Dos Anjos fought Ferguson, Dos Anjos beats Ferguson 9 times out of 10 if he would wrestle him. But for some reason, he didn't wrestle him, didn't go to the ground with him. He's tried to strike with him. And Ferguson's funky movement, you can't do that with him. I actually got Kevin Lee because Kevin Lee will out-wrestle.
I've got Ferguson winning that. I think he's just he's more developed. I think he's got a more complete game than Kevin Lee. Kevin has some serious weapons. He's very, very strong, very explosive. He's got an extremely long reach, especially for his height, like a 77-inch reach or something like that, which Ferguson gets away with a lot of things standing up because he's long and tall, and that gives a lot of guys problems. But Kevin Lee is somebody that will be able to touch him up a little bit there because the range is very, very similar. And also, I think Kevin's faster. So we'll see. But I think I've got Ferguson winning that just on because he's more complete. I would always pretty much bet on the fighter that's more complete.